Hey there, this is Matt once again, and I know I'm in a different angle, but because I wasn't actually going to plan to do this review right now, I was going to wait, but I'm about ready to head to bed, and I figured, you know what, let me do this right now before I go to sleep. I saw the new Child's Play film, and it was interesting. Before I would get these comments from people, mostly people saying, oh man, I can't wait till you rant on it. Uh, Despite what people think, I don't hate everything. If you pick a year, I can name plenty of films that I've enjoyed. Even remakes. Maniac with Elijah Wood, I enjoyed that remake. House of Wax, I enjoyed that remake. House on Haunted Hill from 1999, I enjoyed that remake. Two of my favorite monster movies and horror films of all time is John Carpenter's The Thing and The Blob from 1988. So there are remakes I enjoyed. Night of the Living Dead remake from 1990. Dawn of the Dead remake. Granted, I like the original Dawn of the Dead more, and some of, but there's a lot of bad ones out there, but there's some good ones. And honestly, watching this, although it has some flaws, I liked it. You know, a year's been shitty. Like Godzilla King of the Monsters, I was mixed on. I would say I like this even more than that. I mean, other than John Wick 3, I would put this as, I guess, the second film I didn't mind this year. King of the Monsters, again, that was pretty mixed to the point like, did I like this film? I didn't hate it, but just... But again, despite some flaws, I have reviewed the Child's Play films on this channel. They're all up if you're interested. I enjoy the first three. The original one was a classic. I knew this film was not going to touch the original, and it doesn't. But still, you know, the original is a classic. The second one may be my favorite. I love the toy factory scene at the end. Such a great set piece at the end of Child's Play 2. I love the character of Kyle in that. Child's Play 3, I think, is pretty underrated. I like the military school aspect. I believe his name is Justin Whalen, who plays the older Andy Barkley. I like the finale in the amusement park. And, you know, Brad Dourif in those three movies, he will always be Chucky. But then after that, you have Bride of Chucky, which at the time I wanted to like because I like Chucky, I like Brad Dourif, very underrated actor. But watching that a few years ago, and I'm like, this movie's fucking stupid, and I'm not a fan of Jennifer Titties. I know her name's Jennifer Tilly, but her titties do all the acting. So Jennifer Titties, I'm not a fan of her. I'm not a fan of Rita Boot for Dummies, and the comedy parody aspect of Chucky. I prefer when they actually call it Child's Play. And the Breed of Chucky, which is, I keep wanting to say Breed of Chucky. It's Bride of Chucky, but I don't know. Well, I know why I call it Breed of Chucky because they were just fucking around. And, oh, Chucky has sex in Bride of Chucky. He's got a son, and he's jerking off in Seed of Chucky. And his son pisses his pants. Curse of, Curse of Chucky. You have a scene with people eating fucking chili that feels like it lasts a fucking hour. And then Cult of Chucky, that was abysmal. I ranted on those pieces of shit. I know Dan Mancini, fucking Fettucini might as be called. He directed Seed, Curse, and Cult. Great, you directed three of the worst fucking Chucky movies. I'm glad he was pissed when this remake came out. And he's probably pissed because this movie's better than his fucking movies. I'm talking about the movies he directed. This film's 10 times better than Curse, Cult, and Seed of Chucky. And I think better than Bride of Chucky. Because the strongest aspect, again, despite its flaws, which I'll get to, the strongest aspect of this film is the relationship between the lead kid and Chucky. What I thought they did a really, really good job, which you had not seen in the other Child's Play films. You actually feel a bond between these two characters. They actually do a job of focusing, and someone's going to say, well, this kid's a bit too old for dolls. Well, they even mention that in the movie when the mom brings the doll back to her son. The son even says, well, this thing is for little kids now. And the mom's like, hey, come on, try it out. You never know. And they do a job establishing that this kid felt like he's been abandoned by his dad, and uh, you become becomes friends with this new doll. And you actually see like a montage, and you see an actual development of this friendship between these two, whether they're playing games, whether Chucky's watching while brushing teeth, and Chucky's like trying to mimic it, learning certain things to talk, and bonding with Chucky, like, hey, let's try to steer this new boyfriend of his mom who's a dick, and hey, let's try to steer him and try to make these faces. Okay, try to make your eyes wider. So even in the first Child's Play, which I do think is a better film than this, but in the first Child's Play, you didn't really get a hint of Andy bonding with Chucky. It's just, oh, here's Chucky, I carry him, oh, he's talking to me, and that's it. But here, I'm really hammering in on they do an actual, I thought, good job of establishing this friendship between the kid and Chucky. Uh, Chucky said, oh, I'll never leave you, and doing a side hug. And throughout the film, it's not voodoo. I like the artificial intelligence aspect. I thought it brought a little bit new to the table. A little bit of difference doesn't hurt. And the whole point of Chucky doing this is that he wants to stay friends with Andy. If someone hurts him, he wants to defend Andy. There's a point where a cat scratches Andy, and Chucky tries to strangle it because it hurt Andy. And this focus of wanting to be his friend, and like, well, if you're not going to be my friend, no one will be your friend. That seemed like an aspect that should have been in a Child's Play film already, but really hasn't. I mean, it's because he wants to possess, because he used to be human. And that's what I mean. Being this AI that was so focused on having a friend, and then it's been twisted. Single white Chucky. It's a single white female version of Chucky. Well, not to that extent, but again, that was refreshing, I would say. It made it to the point of, okay, I can see why this exists. I mean, it exists because of money, to make money, but I'm like, okay, there's a reason why this film got made other than money, for the story to play out. And again, that's was the main focus of the film, and I thought that was the main strength of the film. Now, other aspects I enjoyed, the cinematography. I thought it was a good looking film. I thought the colors kind of were brought out strongly, and there was some really good lighting. Like I said, I thought the lead kid did a good job. Some people said the lead kid was awful. I don't understand that. I thought the lead kid did a really strong job. Like when he has to try to disable Chucky the first time, his eyes are glistening, and um, I thought the way that was handled equaled good acting to me. I thought the guy who played Detective Mike, I thought he brought the few scenes he's in, he brought a sense of levity, and he brought a sense of, you know, he got along well, and he would goof around with Andy. I would like to have seen a lot more of that. The movie doesn't overstay its welcome. It's only like an hour and 25 minutes if you take out the end credits, which is nice. Usually films really, really overstay their welcome, and they try to fit so much shit that I'm like, this is fat that could be cut out. This is fat that could be cut out. Oh, it's too precious. We don't want to do that. Here, I didn't really feel that, which I appreciate. Also, it was cool to see some references, like the Andy becomes friends with some other kids, and they watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre too. Now, granted, the editing in that scene is a bit wonky because it's one of those things where they're watching the film, but at one point they're watching the like the end of the film. Then it cuts back to Chucky and the kids. Then it's the beginning of the film. Then it's the middle of the film, and it's like it's poor editing, which I guess is the one of some of the flaws. But uh, maybe I'm forgiving it because I'm like, okay, it's more about maybe it's not trying to be, how I put it, it's not trying to be, what's the word I'm thinking of? From point A to point B is showing all these images that Chucky is seeing, which maybe will influence him later. And there's also a reference to RoboCop, which is cool, because there's this toy car that Chucky uses to mess around with Andy, and the toy car actually says, "Dead or alive, you're coming with me." I thought that was a fun little reference as well. And when the gore's there, it's really good gore. Really good gore. I mean, some of the stuff I did not see coming. I will say that. I'm like, oh shit. Now, before I get into that and get really into spoilers, some of the flaws I have with the film, I wish the store ending, if you've seen the film, you know what I mean, had a bit more carnage to it. Detective Mike, I liked his character. I wish we saw more of him throughout the film. I wish we got a bit more development on the human friends that become Andy's friends. Like, those kids you don't really know anything about, and I wish we had a bit more screen time with them. Like maybe Andy hanging out with them and getting to know them. You did a little bit, but I think considering it's such a short film, about like throughout the movie, like a good 5-10 minutes more of just getting to know some of these other kids, I think would have been appreciated. The biggest flaw to me is the mom. I thought the actress who played the mom she was definitely no Catherine Hicks. She was very piss poor acting at times. Like sometimes I felt she was going to say, "Oh, I broke your nail, dead weight." Just I know she's very young, which you didn't need. You didn't. It didn't need. It did not need to be a younger woman. It could have been any age if you think about it, because any woman could get pregnant at any age. I would prefer a different actress. I don't know if it was the way she was written or just the way she acts. It just seemed, I don't know if obnoxious is the word, but she was definitely the weakest part of the cast. And I mean, I would love to, even if it was an older actress, you could have had, or if it was a grandma, like the mom and dad both died, and it was a grandmother that took care of Andy. Could have easily been that. But I'm saying you could have got like a Gina Davis or someone of that nature. Like, I don't know why I'm picturing Gina Davis. I'm like, she would have been really cool to see like Gina Davis. Again, if you don't buy her as the mom, because, oh, she's too old, be the grandma or whatever the case. Yeah, part of me wants to say it's because of the actress. Because really the writing wasn't, I can't think the writing for her was bad. It was just the way she acted the part. Maybe obnoxious is the word I'm thinking of. It just, she was the weakest part of the movie for me. And she just seemed phony. I think that's the word I'm thinking of, phony. But getting more into spoilers, I like the gore. Like I said, there's some stuff I did not expect. Like there's this boyfriend who is boyfriend of the mom and treats Andy like shit. And that was one of the aspects I liked about Chucky, is that when someone hurts Andy, Chucky will go after this. I mean, in the other films, Chucky is much more selfish because he's just trying to get the people who fucked him over. Here, though, it really was... It seems as if they wanted to take the aspect that maybe Dan Mancini wanted to have with the Blood Buddy, but do it the right way. Where the Blood Buddy with Dan Mancini's original idea for the original film was that it would, for some stupid reason, the doll would bleed and it would like do Andy's bidding, which that's a dumb idea for various reasons. One being, granted, that it wouldn't technically be Andy's fault, but in a kind of way it is, but because of his dark thoughts. But this I thought was handled a lot better. Because like the kid just saying stuff because he's pissed, like he's pissed about the cat scratching him and pissed about this guy who's fucking with him and is with his mom and he hates him, the guy's a dick. But Chucky hears that and takes it literally, and at one point strangling the cat, Andy stops him. Then another point kills the cat. Uh, the surprising thing is, fucks up this guy who's hanging lights, the asshole boyfriend. It's not a lawnmower. I don't know what kind of machinery it is, but fucks up the guy's head with a bunch of blood. The point the top of his fucking head and hair goes through the other side. And then the kid wakes up and passes by, and on the stand is the boyfriend's skin. His face is on a fucking, like, I don't know what the hell it was. It was on, like, Chucky peeled the guy's face off and presented it. And it's like, now we can play. He won't bother us anymore. Now we can play again. I did not expect to see a skinned face in a Chucky movie, but that was surprising in a good way. It's not a big body count, although granted, I guess with Child's Play films, you don't really get a big body count if you think about it. I mean, they're not Friday the 13th in body count stature. So, and then there's this guy who I swear I thought was Jack Black, but he's the guy who works. He fixes stuff in the building. When the kid realizes what Chucky has done, him and his human friends, they disable him and dump him. And the guy who works in the building finds it and fixes it because he wants to sell it on eBay. I don't know. I swear that guy was Jack Black, but he's not. But he looked like Jack Black to me. And I just, because he opened Chucky up, Chucky didn't like that. And because of the AI, he can turn stuff on with the buddy system. And also it leads to a table saw up the guy's ass, and you see a fucking leg or a limb falling to the floor, and decent bit of blood in the flick. And like I said, one of the strongest aspects is the kid having a bond with Chucky and vice versa, and Chucky being very adamant to keeping and staying friends with the Andy character. And people are like, well, what's the big deal with that? Again, it made it a bit more refreshing and kind of made me wish that that was a bit more in the original film. But again, that wasn't the story it was trying to tell. And I guess really, I mean, I wrote a thing on Facebook, and I'll still talk more, but I want to read, like, that's sort of my condensed thoughts on the flick. Once I did Facebook upload, I should have done this in the first place. But what? Damn, sorry about that. I lost my voice there for a second. What I wrote was, recently watched the new Child's Play film, and overall I enjoyed it. It's easily the best one since the first three. One strong point of the film is they actually go into the lead kid Andy and Chucky having a rapport and a bond between before the shit hits the fan. Bonding while playing a game, Chucky being defensive when Andy gets hurt, and more. That's an aspect you never really got in any of the Chucky or Child's Play movies. The lead kid, I thought, did a really nice job. Very genuine emotions. Mark Hamill as the voice of Chucky, he did a commendable job. I mean, he's no Brad Dourif, but he did a commendable job. You know, I'd rather watch Mark Hamill in this than fucking Last Jedi. Like I said, cinematography, there was some good lighting, color scheme. It wasn't fucking filtered where everything was piss yellow or dull with the colors, because a lot of films nowadays do that shit. It's a short film, didn't overstay its welcome. I like that there's a good chunk of practical effects. There's a handful of CGI shots to different degrees of success, but I like that a good chunk of it was practical. And the look of Chucky took me a little bit of getting used to, but by the end of it, it didn't bother me. And again, some of the practical effects, like there's an early scene where Andy's holding Chucky's hand and they're walking side by side. I thought, oh, that was not that bad. I like that they did go for practical for the most part and not just 100% CG. Now, granted, nothing will beat the scene in Child's Play 2. That shot where Chucky has the ruler and he's walking to the teacher and the way the camera angle, to me, that's Chucky. The best that he looked and moved was in Child's Play 2. Still, with that said, I thought they did a fairly decent job with the effects on this. And yeah, he moves, but I thought, well, that's what a toy would move. You can't have a toy being fluent, because then, okay, they're using CGI to make it more fluent, but that's not what a toy would do. If they made an actual toy, it would move in this fashion. Again, like I said, I wish the human characters, the human friends that Andy befriends, I wish they had development. I wish Mike the detective had a bit more, more screen time. I wish that the mom was played by a different actress. I wish the ending finale had a bit more carnage to it. But even with it, dear more in spoilers, I liked, in a weird way, this reminded me of Critters 2, where a guy, instead of a bunny suit, he's in a Chucky mascot because a new doll, a new version of the Buddy doll is opening and kids are there and they're coming in and this guy's, oh man, I hate this. And he puts on like a Chucky outfit, a mascot, and he gets his neck stabbed. And when he takes it off, fucking blood is shooting out onto the little kids, which I didn't expect that, but it did make me laugh. So that's, and then the Chucky, because again it's AI, uses drones. And I wish there was more carnage with the drones, but there's a couple of things where it, fucked some people up. Again, I wish he was a bit more balls to the wall on that. So, but I thought that was an interesting idea. And overall, compared to, like, I know people hate the film, but compared to remakes like the RoboCop, Red Dawn, The Fog, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, The Thing pre-made, pre-cum bullshit, April Fool's Day remake, didn't they kind of try to remake Terror Train, but they called it Train, but it has nothing to do with it? To me, this is one of the more decent ones. I would put this in the realm of the House of Wax remake, Maniac with Elijah Wood. And I'm like, you know what, this is a pretty decent one. You want to see a bad remake? Watch the Hitcher remake. That's a fucking despicable remake. Again, there's a lot worse fucking remakes than this, and a lot worse Chucky movies than this. And yet, sorry, I like this more than fucking Curse of Chucky, where some fucking woman is in a wheelchair in a house. There's a lesbian aspect out of the fucking blue, and a scene where a family eats chili that feels like it lasts for 30 fucking minutes. The ending is satisfying. The kid, the mom, and detective might get their hits in. It wasn't a carbon copy of the first film. There are elements they borrow, like the kid, mom, the detective, but it wasn't a beat-for-beat remake, which I appreciate, because a lot of films do that. But it's not the Poltergeist remake. That's another awful one, which is a Xerox. This was not a Xerox. So the score, not as memorable as the score to the original film, but still fair score. And overall, not a bad film at all. Fairly decent. So again, I've seen shit you wouldn't believe. I thought it did things. It did a lot of things right, more than it did wrong. You know, Mark Hamill, he's no Brad Dourif, but he did a very commendable job. But again, the the aspect of the kid and Chucky having a bond, and that's explored throughout the entire film. Whoever, whether the director, the writer, whoever had that, whoever thought, hey, that's going to be the focus of it, there, that was the right call. That was the right decision. And I commend it for that. So, I'm like, I would like to see a sequel. I would like to see a sequel to this. I don't say that a lot, but if they did a sequel to this film, I'd be curious about it. And they don't have to follow the kid. They could go multiple directions. And I appreciate trying to do a more serious Child's Play film, not just a fucking parody comedy, because I got sick of that shit real fast. I appreciate, yeah, you can have some humor and levity, but I appreciate you taking it seriously more than just being a goddamn comedy. So, overall, I like the film. Director, not that bad of a job. I commend you for it. So, either way, thanks for watching, take care, and we will see you later. Bye-bye.